Hello, everyone, and welcome to Makeover Monday 2021, Week 39, Watch Me Viz. This week we're looking at the all-time wins above replacement. This is probably going to be the last Watch Me Viz for Makeover Monday, but I will continue to do these as I come across data sets that I'm interested in. There's a couple other projects like the one by Mark Radburn for the real world. Shoot, I forget what it's called now. It's like real world dashboards. So I'll probably do some of those live as well. So the data set this week is based on the very first Makeover Monday as a community project. So week 1 of 2016. And this one was a bit more specific in that it compared the salary versus the wins above replacement. And in particular, it focused on one player, Bryce Harper. So what this viz does, it's got a simple bar chart, just ranking in descending order, the top 30 players and the season, and then their amount that they were underpaid. So this is a measure that was calculated in the data set already. And then we have a scatter plot to just kind of show the outliers. So we can see right here, we've got Bryce Harper is in that little corner there. Oops. And then we also have these other dark outliers, which are Mike Trout. So that's just another player that has 4 of the top 30 seasons there. And down the bottom, we just have a simple ranking. So we're comparing their market value to their salary and seeing where they rank. And you can see that for those 2 players in particular, that there's a big difference between where their salary is and their market value rank. Okay, so I think that's about it. So in the original, there's some nice interactivity, so you can see things, some good highlight actions and things like that. As you go through, you can see I took time to clean up the tooltips. I kind of like this one. I'm going to pat myself on the back a bit here. One thing maybe is to have this, the season header is cut off, which isn't good. And maybe a bit more spacing between the title and the top 2 charts. It feels a bit cluttered to me, so maybe a bit more spacing. And for some reason, I don't have the data set on here, which isn't good. So I should have given credit to the data source for that one. Right, so this is the data set, and we're looking at, I believe, the top 200 now, the all-time offensive WAR leaders. So WAR, again, means wins above replacement. So that's basically, it kind of means let's see, there's a definition. I thought there was a definition here. So WAR data. So we can go to baseball reference and we could look at the definition of WAR. WAR. So, that's just going, here we go. So WAR. And let's see, wins above replacement. Okay, how to use the WAR. So the idea behind the WAR framework is that we want to know how much better a player is than a player that would typically be available to replace that player. We start by comparing the player to the average in a variety of venues, etc. So there's no way to determine the WAR. Hundreds of steps to make the calculation, but it's an approximation of how much better that player is than the typical player. So think about it as how much better is this player than the average player. That's probably it's not quite accurate to say that, but that's the easiest way to think about it. So, and then we have a bunch of other statistics as well. So this is our offensive wins above replacement. We've got all the definitions down here. So the offensive wins against replacement would be, we don't have their overall WAR in here, but that's okay. So we're just looking at offensive wins above replacement. Okay, so we've got the data set here. I'm not going to really worry about renaming the fields yet. Some of them are a bit complicated, but I'm going to just start by looking at so the year field. You see we have that here. I'm going to just make that discrete so I don't get an axis. And if I look at the players and maybe the year, and I look at the offensive WAR and then sort descending, you see it's splitting up the players. So actually what I want to have is I want to have kind of a more or less a ranking here. So I'm going to create another calculated field. I'm going to call this my WAR rank. and I'm going to rank the sum of war. Nope, off. Okay, and I'm going to make that discrete. I'm going to make that the first field in my rows. And I'm going to edit this table calc, and I want to do it to every player here. And if we turn on the labels, we can see we've got those particular values. So how are they displaying? So we see we've got Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, etc. So they've got it displayed to one. Actually, all of these stats are displayed to 1 decimal. So I'm going to highlight all of them, including measure values, and I'm going to set the default number format to 1 decimal place. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so this just goes down into the 200. So we've got a lot of them at 117. So if I scroll down and go to the next couple pages, or actually let's just look at number 45, you'll see we've got a bunch of players that have the same wins above replacement then. We could possibly look at, so let's look at the year, and let's look at the number of players that are in each of those years. So player, say I want to do count distinctive, no, count of player, and let's make it fit an entire view. I was just looking to see if there's any kind of concentration of players across the different years. It doesn't look like there's anything in particular. Okay, so that's not very useful. But I could maybe create a decades field. So let's create a field called decade. And I'm going to make this the left 3 of the year field. And so I need to turn that into a string. And then I'm going to add to that a 0 and an S. So you'll see here in a second what that means. So 1890s, 1900s, etc. So let me go back and let's maybe try decade on here instead of player. Okay, so 1890s, 1900s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s. Okay. So nothing, again, no particular patterns, but maybe this will be useful later. So this is players per decade. Okay, I don't need this sheet, so I'm going to delete that. And this is just my rank. So this will be my war rank. All right, so I'm going to start, since I've got a bunch of different metrics, I'm going to start by just comparing all of them. So I'm going to drag all of the metrics into the columns, and I'm going to also drag all of them onto the rows. And I'm going to put player on detail, and I'm going to put year on detail because I want to look at each individual measure. Come on. Okay. And I'm just kind of looking for relationships. Now on the diagonal, we're going to always have a one-to-one relationship. So here on offense, RAAO, etc. But what I'm looking for is any other potential relationships. So let's make these circles. I think that might make them a bit easier to look at. Okay. Well, it didn't change them to circles. Come on, Tableau, sometime today. So I did pick circle. Oh, let's see. I need to go to, let's see, where is my all? Here we go. That's what I want. All circle. Okay, and I'm going to make it fit entire view just so we can see them all together. Okay, it's very, very slow. Okay, so actually let me make it fit height instead. I don't like how wide those are. Okay, and then I'm going to put my trend line, a linear trend line through all of them. Now we'll get a perfect linear trend going down the diagonal because you're comparing the measure to itself. So that makes sense. What else has a strong relationship here? So it looks like, so what's this, TRPG? So that looks like it has a really strong relationship. WA, which probably, let's see what some of these definitions are. TRPG, where is that? So average team runs per player, per game with player. Okay, so that means average team runs per player. Okay, wins above replacement, wins above average. Okay, wins above replacement. So I think I'm going to rename this one as offensive war. Okay, so actually I think what I'm going to do is I want to look at the war. The war is kind of the focus of this visualization. So I'm going to look at just the war compared to each of, let's see, fit width now. Okay, so you see, okay, so this makes sense because you're comparing war to itself. So it looks like there's a strong relationship between RAAO, RAR, RB, but not RBR, not RK, TRPG, W. Okay, so everything looks like it has a pretty strong relationship except RBR and RK. Okay, so let's go back and look what those are. RBR is base running runs from weighted. Okay, that's a bit confusing anyway. And then RBK, I think was the other one, wasn't it? RBK. Let me go back. No, RK. So RK, which I don't even see in here. Okay, well, that's not very useful then, is it? Right, okay, so we've got some relationships here. Let me start just renaming some of these fields so they can make a bit more sense. So the RAAO is offensive runs above average. I'm just going to copy and paste these in here. Actually, I'm going to do that at the end. And let me rename this one as well and just hit the reset. Okay, so I'm wondering what makes sense here might be some kind of, maybe some kind of dynamic scatter plot. So I'm going to create a parameter. I'm going to choose my first metric, or first stat. Okay, so let's make this a string and a list, and I'm going to just type in my different, I don't think I can add values from, yeah, that doesn't help. So if I bring up the data set, come on, I'm going to just grab these things here, and I'm going to add values from, paste from clip. Okay, so that didn't work. So let me do it this way. Let me just do paste special transpose and then copy, paste. Okay, there we go. And then I can change how these are displayed. So off is going to be offensive wins above replacement. Okay, RB is, okay, we're not going to use RB, I don't believe. Oh no, RB has a strong relation. Okay, so RB is going to be, this just takes a minute. RBR, oh no, RBR we didn't use. RAR we have, runs above replacement. So, okay. RAAO, do we still have that one? RAAO, so that's offensive runs above average. And then WAAO is offensive wins above average. WAO, okay, win-loss percentage off, okay, I'm not, that one's too confusing. TRPG is average, okay. Great. All right, so what was the other one? I'm going to get rid of that one. So let's then duplicate this, and let's call this one, let's choose, let's just call this one comparison stat. And oh, tablet just crashed. RK is rank. Okay, thanks. I will. Oh, is that right? Let me see here. Oh, right. It's the first column in there, isn't it? Oh, okay. So I didn't even really need to create a rank calculation. Thanks for that, Ming. Send error report. Let's open this again. I hope it didn't mess up. Okay, so that's good. So let's duplicate. And I'm going to go ahead and save because I don't believe that it's going to not crash again. Let's see, Makeover Monday, 2021, week 39. MLB all-time wins above replacement. I'm going to call it offensive. Okay. Okay, so then let me rename this one, call it comparison. How about compared to? And let's call this one baseline stat. State. I always type state when I want to type stat. Okay, so now I'm going to create another calculated field. So let me show the parameter. And let's make it a list. Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to need each of these. Let's see, do I do RB, RBR? I think this is one I got rid of. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Runs above replacement. Okay, let me see here. RB. I forget which one I got rid of. Oh, I could just look in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So which one did I get rid of? Let's edit this. Okay, so I did something wrong here. Let's edit. So off RB, RBR, oh, RBR I got rid of. So let's see what RBR is. RBR, oh yeah, that's the confusing one. So let's get rid of that. Okay, and let me go back to Tableau here. And RBR, 1, 2, 3. Wait, didn't I just get rid of that? Off RB. Off RB. RAR. RAAO. WAAO. And okay, there we go. So that's our 6. Okay, so let's create a new calculated field, and I'm going to call it my baseline stat. And I'm just going to copy these in here, and I'm going to paste them in, and come on. So I'm going to use a case statement, so case baseline, and I'm going to say when they pick that, then I want to use the off field. When they choose RB, then I want to use the RB field. When they choose RAR, then when okay, so what you might notice here is in my condition here, I just have these abbreviations, yet in my parameter itself, you'll see I have these values over here on the right, or this display as. So think of these on the right hand side as just aliases. So these are the underlying values that we need to search for when we're creating a calculation. Okay, so let's duplicate that and edit, and let's call this one compared to, and I'm going to just replace that. All right, so let's look at our baseline stat. Let's, oops, wrong place here. Okay. So we're going to put our, I better save just in case it crashes again. Okay, so let's put baseline stat compared to, maybe put player and year, because I want to get as much detail as possible. Let's make them circles. And I've got the same value. There we go. Okay. Yes, it looks a bit better now because they're more spread out. And I can put my trend line on there. So that looks good. Okay, and I'm going to edit both axes. And I'm going to untick the include zero option on both of them. That way it just kind of zooms in a bit. Right, okay, so we can now choose the different stats to compare to each other. So some of them relate and some of them don't. So you see here this offensive wins above replacement versus average team runs per game with player. So what I want to do now is I want to have I want my axes to have the, instead of it saying baseline stat and compared to as my titles, I want to have the values that I actually pick. So I'm going to put baseline stat in my columns, and then I'm going to hide the field labels. And now you can see this says offensive wins above replacement up there. Put my compared to on this side, and then I'm going to rotate the label and hide the field labels for the rows. So as I change these now, if you look at my rows, you can see them swapping around, right? Let me put the baseline first. So let's edit our axis and get rid of the title on both of them. Now, unfortunately, I can't put the field for the columns at the bottom. At least I haven't seen a way to do it, because the axis is always going to, the green fields are always going to be to the left of the blue fields. I think, so if I go up to, let's see what happens if I go up to, come on, analysis, table layout, advanced. If I pick show innermost, what does that do? Okay, that doesn't do anything. Horizontal. Okay, so that didn't do anything. And then maybe we could format this and make it a nice, maybe a bigger font. And let's maybe make it Tableau medium and gray, or maybe slightly darker black. Let's make this one Tableau medium and 12. Anyway, just trying to get them to look the same. And I would probably drag this over a bit to make it look a bit bigger. Okay, so now we got something like that. So maybe what we could do then, so let's see what happens if we put an average line on each of those quadrants. Okay, so what we could do now is we could maybe turn this into a quadrant chart. So the ones that are up here would be kind of the best players. So I'm going to create, let's see, what's the best way to do this? Okay, I'm going to create a calculated field, and I'm going to say, let's call it the best players. And what I want to say is, I want to say if the sum of the baseline start is greater than the window average of the sum of the baseline start, and the sum of the compared to is greater than the window average of the sum of the compared to. So this is doing two Boolean calculations. So the first one is going to look at everything that's to the right of this average line, and the second one is going to look at everything that's above. So I should just get these, only these ones on the upper right are going to be true. So let's put that on color. And you see everything's false right now because I need to configure my table calc to do it for every player and year. And there we go. So now we got those on the upper right. I'm going to edit my trend line because I don't want to show one for each color. So untick that. Build separate trend lines based on the following dimensions. Okay, I don't need best players in that. And I'm going to untick the recalculate. Okay, what does it do if I show my confidence bands? Not much. Great, so now we can see the players that are on the upper right. So if I switch my stats around, I could still see those players that are on the upper right here. Okay, so maybe we can now count those players. So let's create a new calculated field, and let's call it best players count. And I want to do, I'm going to say if best players, then I guess I could just say 1 and then end. Okay, so, and then I want to, so I'm going to get the, basically I'm going to count the number of orange dots in this view. So it's going to be about, what, 30 or so, maybe 50, something like that. So then I'm going to wrap this in a level of detail expression and just do the sum. So this is just going to, anytime I hit a best player, oh, it's already aggregated. So this is going to be the sum of 1. So this, let's see, what is this doing now? Contains error. Oh, they can't contain table calcs. Okay, great. Okay, so so level of detail expression, because it happens up higher in the order of operations, it doesn't let you use it in the level of detail, or it doesn't let you use table. You can't use table calculations inside of the level of detail expression. Okay, so what's another way we can do this then? So I could probably do, what if I did a window, let's see, so if best players, then I want to return the, how about I just return the rank RK. What happened to my RK field? Okay. Then end. So that's not going to quite work though, is it? So if best players, then 1. And then, okay, so let's see what this does. So let's put that onto the label shelf. And I'm getting 1s everywhere. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's good. And now let's just see how many this is. So this is roughly 62 players. So I need to edit my, and I want to get rid of the, untick the recalculate, and then label custom average, and then insert the value, tooltip. Okay, and then edit custom which one looks better? Average. I think I'm going to move this one. So let's format and let's put the label at the top. Okay. And then this one, let's edit this again. And let's just call it average. Okay. And then both of these should be to 1 decimal. So let's format number standard 1 decimal, no shading. No. Oh, 0. There we go. And then this one, and let's make it 1 decimal. All right, so I think I said it was like 67 or something like that. 62. Okay, so I should be able to count 62 players now. So now I want to do a window sum of this. And let's see what we get. So we get nothing. If best players window sum. Okay. Right, so that didn't work. Okay, what if we just try the total calc? Total cannot include, oh, okay. So why is that not working? Windows sum. So I would have expected that to now say 62. So, oh, that's why. Okay, so now we should say 60. So if I lasso all of those, I get 63. Oh, okay, it's because I picked extra blue ones there. Okay, so that looks good. So I'm going to just move that to detail. And I'm going to say 60, or no, I want to insert the, let's see, what do we call this? Player count. Players are above average and above average. But see, that's okay, so that's good. Okay, so 60 players are above average. So this should now change when I change the stats. 75 players are in the upper right. Okay, 60, 75. 72 players are above average batting runs from. Okay. So, okay, so that title's very difficult. And I think there's 200 marks total. Okay, so percent of players. So I want to do the best players count divided by 200. And let's create that as a number format percentage one. Okay, so let's put that on detail as well. And I'm going to just stick that here at the beginning to put the percent of players. Okay. And then let's make sure this is configured properly. Player, player, and then player, player. Okay, good. So 36% of players. Okay. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename this. Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry, postman was at the door. Okay. Oh, thank you, Peter. I have recovered, actually. I feel pretty good today. Okay, so 36% of players are, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into my, and I'm going to, I think if I, shoot. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy them again from here. Ah, shoot. I better save. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be better or not. I'm trying to make my title look a bit better. All right, so RB. Okay, so 38% of players are above average, and above average RB. Okay, so let's leave it like that for now. And then I'm going to just insert the number. Okay, and I think I need to say something like out of the top 200 all-time highest. What is it called? MLB. Okay, maybe I'll do it like this. Okay. Okay. So let's make this a subtitle instead. Maybe make it like 12. Okay, top 200 all-time offensive wins above replacement. Top 200. What's the best way to say this? All-time offensive board leaders. Out of the top 200. So I'll say 38% of players, 48% of the top 200 players. Okay. 38% of the top 200 players are above average. Okay, and above average RB. Okay. Right. Okay, I don't know if that's very good, but we'll try it anyway. Okay, so I'm not sure. So we've got the ranking here. We could maybe do the, let's see, so we've got the compared to, and we have the baseline. Okay, let's swap these around. And let's put the, okay, so let's make this a line. And I want to have a line for each player and a line for each year. And then let's make this a rank. So this will be similar to kind of what I did before in the original version. So I need to do it by both player and year. And let's do it by player and year. Okay, so now we get this scatter plot. Or not a scatter plot, slope graph. Okay. Right. It's interesting that a lot of these are the same. So rank of compared to. So that's not a very useful title, is it? That's okay. I can fix that. Right. What's another way I can do this? So if we do, let me just duplicate. I'm going to get rid of, so measure values. I think if I make it a dual axis instead, so let's put that here. Yes, that's not, what am I trying to do here? Yes, that's not going to work. Yeah, okay, so let me try going back here then, and maybe I'll just change the stat, and let's see what happens to our, and then in our, okay, so this should be reversed. Okay, we don't need that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that moves as well, which is nice. So we just have a lot of ties. That's the problem. But I could maybe. I wonder if I make it a rank. Let's see, competition. Let's make it a unique, and then let's make this one a rank unique. Okay, so that might look. It's very misleading though. I shouldn't do that. This is kind of way too busy though. So if I do this, let's say I put my baseline stat there, and I put my compare to stat there. Okay, and then I want to rank these. I'll just call this rank. This is going to be the rank of my sum of my baseline stat. Okay, there we go. Okay. So this gives us the all-time rank of these players. I don't remember if I put player on here again. Let's see, player. Yes, that's not going to help. What I'm trying to do is get this number to repeat, but maybe that's okay. So let me format the view a bit. And let's reduce the row dividers. That looks better. And then the baseline stat, the compare to, sorry, baseline stat, and the compare to default properties. Number format should be 1 decimal. Okay. So that's probably fine. But is this useful? Probably not. Okay. Maybe we will just go with something like this. So these are the same, aren't they? Yeah, let's delete that one. Okay, that's a bit better. So let's call this one higher baseline. And I'm just going to say, is the rank of that greater than the rank of that? And let's put that on color. And let's edit that. Okay. And let's put the trues in front of the falses. So this is just showing me which players. So actually, maybe what I could do is I could put my top, where's my best players? Maybe I put those on there. Okay, there we go. And let's maybe make the best players. I think I have a Major League Baseball color palette. MLB, but those aren't going to be the official MLB colors. Okay. Oh my God, this is going to take forever. Okay, so Major League Baseball. Okay, so primary. Let's go with the red. So let's make the trues the red. I know red generally means bad, but I think I'm okay with it in this case. Let's make the falses maybe some kind of gray. Come on. And what does that look like? Okay. All right. What I don't like though is that these look pretty terrible, these titles here. And does that really tell me anything that this one doesn't? Probably not. Okay, let's maybe. Okay, I'm just going to go with this. I need to be done here. So let's make it maybe 800 by 700. No, other way around. 700 by 800. And I'm going to put the fields. Oh, wrong one. Okay. So. Okay, let's show the caption. And okay, so his ESPN created by okay. And then I'm going to put some inner padding. And now I've got all these extra, these like containers and things here. So I need to somehow figure out what to do with these now. I don't like this subtitle. So let's make this maybe 18. 35%. Okay, maybe I'll just make this 10 point. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I wonder if I could. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to change it to a compact list. Hide the title. Show title. I'm going to shrink it down. And of course, Template Public is going to move this, which is like super annoying. And maybe I'll put that there. Okay. And then this same thing, so let's hide the title, make it a single value compact list, sorry. This one is what size? So this one is 26 by 26. And this one is located at Y89. So let's make this one Y89. Oh, might as well move it first. Okay, so let's pick the one with the yeah, that doesn't look very good, does it? Okay, I need to figure out a better way to put these in here. So let's try this. Let's copy that. And instead I'm going to put a container in here. And I'm going to move this inside of the container. Hold shift down to drop floating objects into the container. That's exactly what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so let's pick the container. Okay, and then let's move those to the front. And let's put in a text box. Okay. Okay. So I need to change this sheet so the layout does not have any padding. And then I need to change the container so it does have padding. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to put these between the title and the sheet. So I need to put in a horizontal container. And I'm going to put that in there. Okay. And then let's, on this container, we'll just do inner padding, it doesn't matter. Let's put 100. Okay. Okay, great. So let me save. Now I think I could change the names of these parameters again. So let's edit the parameter. And I'm going to now put those names back in. I know this is tedious, but so offensive wins above replacement. RB is RAR is runs above replacement. Okay. So now if I go back to my dashboard, you'll see this one looks a bit better now. Betting runs for weighted runs above average. Boy, that's hard to understand. Okay, let me hide that title for now. Okay, so what if this one is always the wins above replacement, and I only allow them to change this one? Because then I could say, how does war compare to whatever? So maybe I'll do that. So I'm going to do something a bit sneaky here. I'm going to rename this as and then I'm going to rename this one as compared. Okay, so I need to go back to my scatter plot. So that's always going to be wins above replacement. So I'm going to get rid of this one now. Edit title. Okay, wait, I messed something up. Let me go back. I was messing things up, so I'm going to go back and fix it. So I don't need this one, so let's get rid of that one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my baseline stat. Has offensive wins above replacement compare to yeah, so now if I pick something in here, okay, so that means I don't need this other container now. So let me get rid of, okay, that's gone. And let's set some outer padding. Let's put in 200. Okay. Nope. Okay. Okay. All right, so now on this sheet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, can I annotate an area? And if I insert, no, that's not it. I want to, let's see, annotate a point. Nope, that's not what I want either. What I'm trying to do is like float the number in here. That's the percent of players. But I don't remember how to do that. Annotate. I probably could get rid of that as well. That might clean it up a bit. Annotate. Okay. But I can't annotate a mark because then it'll disappear. All right, let me just do some formatting here. So let me format this. Let's make it a dashed line. Okay, maybe a medium gray. Okay. Offensive runs against, all right, so let's format the view again. We can get rid of the row dividers and the column dividers. Should we leave the grid lines? Probably, but can we make them a bit lighter? Yeah, I want them to almost disappear into the background. And what if I make them dashed? It's a bit too light, isn't it? There we go, maybe something like that. Okay, so we got offensive runs. Okay. And then but what I want to have here is like a table with the number of players. Okay, so I think I can okay, I think I can get around that. So I'm going to put in the player, the year, and I'm going to put in my best players count and edit table calc, both of those and both of those. Okay, so now I know the number is 61, so I'm going to rank. Doesn't matter. I'll just do I'll just call it index equals 0. Now let's just say index. And let's edit the table calc, go down the view, that's fine. And then we want to make it discrete. And now you'll see I now get, 1, 2, 3 all the way down the view. I only want to keep one of these though, so I'm going to drag index to the, I need to save this. So let's just call it index. And let's drag that here. We want to keep only the first one. Notice we still get the 6. So what Tableau is kind of doing now is it's sort of hiding those other players. And then I'm going to just move these to the detail shelf. I'll get rid of the tooltip. And I'm going to, in my text, I'm going to say 61 players. And let's make this a nice big number. Okay, let's hit OK, center, and center. So what I'm going to do now, so this is our total players. But I need to put my percentage on here as well. I'm not sure I like that, but let's just see what it looks like. So now I'm going to float this up here in the corner, hide the title. Let's make it fit entire view. And then I should be able to just kind of stick this up in the corner here. Even if I put it here. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to move it behind the, I can move it down here. Let's take this and move it above. So now it's behind the sheet, but I should be able to, in this sheet, Set the background to none. Let's see, so let's format. Let's set this to none. Okay, so now we can see that in the background, but we can't click on it. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, so let's go to this sheet. I'm going to make this a nice big number. Okay. So I should now hopefully be able to, I think I'll get rid of the percentage. There we go. So what about that? Okay. Let's see here. I'm just looking at comments. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. So now if we change this, we'll see 63 players, 86 players, 61. Okay, I like that. But I think maybe it needs to be maybe a gray font. So let's maybe make it a gray so it sort of fades into the background a bit. Yeah, that's better. Let's make this bold. Yeah, something like that I think is better. So total players, let's go to the size again, make it a bit bigger. This is how you make a font bigger than what Tableau allows you to do. Okay, so let's make this one now. Let's make that 8 point. Nope. Okay, that's fine. I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so I think so offensive war compared to how do Major League Baseballs, or how do the top 200 what's it way? Let's see. One be away wins above replacement. How do the top? How do the all-time? Compare in other stats. That's not a very good title. How do the all-time MLB wins above replacement leaders? Yes, that's not very good. All right, so let's set a layout here. Let's go here. Let's set the bottom. Okay, so let's see now. Should I put maybe a blank in here? Let's edit the height. Make it 10. And let's put a little background color. And then let's do the same thing here. Major League Baseball all-time offensive wins above replacement leaders. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that because I really can't think of anything else. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm gonna leave it here. So I'm now allowing them to just do one axis instead of two. So wins above average, wins above replacement. Okay. So I think that's good. It's not, of course, my best thing ever, but that's okay. It's not the point. And yeah, I think I'll leave it like that and call it a day and sign off here. So let's call this Makeover Monday 2021, week 39. Let's go ahead and extract the data. Extract. Come on. And let's save it there. And then save. And I think that's it. Let me see. Can I make this any wider? Okay, so let's take a bit more. Okay. What I don't like is, so that's good there, having that line, but this feels a bit squished here for some reason. Okay. I think it's because this is aligned differently. It doesn't feel like it's quite centered, but it is. So let's go back to this sheet, and this needs to move down. Probably something like that. And I'm going to save, and I'll get this published, and I think that's about it. Let me just try. I know I keep fiddling here. If I try changing the size a bit. So what if I make them bigger, and then I reduce the opacity? What does that look like? That's terrible. Because now they look like cherries. Okay. Oh, I need to fix my tooltips. Oh, geez. Let's call this my scatter plot. Okay, so this does not need to be in the tooltip. That does not need to be in the tooltip. That does not need to be in the, actually, I don't even need either of these in the view anymore because I'm not using them. We can reset the title. Okay. Now we can change the tooltip. So player, year. Let's make this maybe 14. Okay. So just say okay, so tooltip. Let's make those not bold. think that's fine. I should change the phone version though and kill that. Let's make the dots a bit smaller again. And yeah, I think that'll do. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I think we've been doing these for about a year now, and I appreciate you tuning in and answering and asking questions. If for those of you that weren't on at the beginning, I will continue to do these, but not necessarily with Makeover Monday. There's some other things that I want to work on that I'll probably just go ahead and record those because people seem to like these and they seem to learn something from them. So until then, thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.